An automatic transmission on a motorcycle. It sounds a little bit like an oxymoron, doesn't it? For many riders, you might think that automatic transmissions are exclusive to scooters or mopeds in the two-wheeled world, but they have actually had a place in motorcycling for a long time, with manufacturers like Honda making sure they have a little something on the menu for everyone. They really are like the Applebee's of motorcycles in that way. Honda claims their new dual-clutch transmission is the future of motorcycling, with the ease of use of an automatic transmission and the control options of a manual. The influx of electric motorcycles we're seeing also make use of just a single speed. It's not an automatic transmission per se, since there are no shifts at all, but the same functionality and ease of use without the need of a clutch or switch gears. Ironically, the same sport bike chads that would literally throw shade at someone riding in DCT motorcycles also are likely to have quick shifters on their Super Sport. Hell, you can't even buy certain sports cars with an analog stick shift anymore. Are automatics becoming more commonplace on motorcycles as well? There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. But first, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're always up to date on the freshest content. Today's video is sponsored by shop.yamanoob.co. That's us, and we'll talk more about us and what goodies you can find over there later in the video. We can't talk about automatic motorcycle transmissions without talking about Honda at the top. Honda has always wanted to make motorcycles that appeal to all walks of life, not just die-hard bikers and power sports enthusiasts. They want to sell a lot of motorcycles. That's the best way to do it. Probably majority of the people watching this video wouldn't have gotten into motorcycling if Honda hadn't changed the public image of the sport in 1960s. Last I checked, we don't have any 1%ers in our Discord server. So with this ethos of approachability in mind, Honda has implemented automatic or semi-automatic transmissions in some of their motorcycles as far back as the 1960s. Small bikes like the Super Cub and Trail series used a semi-automatic transmission where riders could shift up and down gears without the use of a clutch. And that's a system that is still in use in Honda's mini bikes today. This style is a little more engaging than a CVT style transmission you would find in a pass-through scooter. In the 1970s, Honda started implementing their Honda-matic transmission. Ironically, this wasn't even automatic at all, it was just a transmission with two gears that the rider manually selected based on their speed. It's like a turtle and a rabbit mode on your lawnmower, basically. So far, these transmission shortcuts make the riding experience easier for some, while sacrificing some capability and performance of the motorcycle. Today, Honda is implementing their dual-clutch transmission in their motorcycles and claiming it has all the benefits of an automatic transmission without sacrificing any of the functionality you want from a manual. Too good to be true? Let's take a closer look. A dual-clutch transmission is a lot closer to a traditional transmission on a motorcycle than any automatic has been before. It still features a clutch and a gearbox, but all the engagement and shifting is done by the computer. And these computers have gotten pretty advanced. Multiple rider modes are selectable that determine when in the power band the motorcycle shifts between gears. Certain models also utilize feedback from the 6-axis IMU to determine when the gear changes are made so it doesn't shift in inopportune times like mid-corner or while going up a hill. All DCT motorcycles from Honda can be switched into manual mode, where the rider can electronically toggle up and down through gears just like a paddle shifter on a car. As cars come fully manual stick shift transmissions wane in popularity, many performance cars come equipped with the DCT. With a designated clutch for every other gear, shifting up through the gears of the DCT, either an automatic or manual, can often be significantly faster than a traditional manual transmission. And with the prevalence of quick shifter systems on super sport motorcycles, there is reason to believe that manually operating a clutch might go out of style. Here are some motorcycles from Honda available with the DCT. One of the first bikes from Honda to be equipped with DCT is none other than the Goldwing. If there was ever a motorcycle that should have an automatic transmission, it is probably the one that is the size of a small commuter car and designed to be ridden for hundreds of miles at a time. I mean, geez, you can even buy one with airbags if you want. The Wing comes with a 7-speed automatic DCT transmission, dual clutch transmission. Redundant, but that's what it says on Honda's website. Anyway, it has a 7-speed gearbox plus reverse. You gotta have reverse on the Goldwing. I rode a buddy's 1982 Goldwing before they had reverse gear, and it took me like 10 minutes to back it out of the driveway. Talk about big chungus. The Goldwing is powered by an 1833cc 6-cylinder engine that makes 126 horsepower and 125 foot-pounds of torque. It is the ultimate big bad dad mode touring machine. Not much more needs to be said. The base price for Goldwing DCT is $25,300. But Honda also makes a DCT version of the Africa Twin adventure bike. I think DCT would be pretty practical in an ADV setting too, just one less thing to worry about while you try to navigate some tricky off-road terrain. The Africa Twin has the 1084cc parallel twin that makes 101 horsepower and 77 foot-pounds of torque. The higher-end Adventure Sports trim offers electrically adjustable show of forks at the front and a fully adjustable monoshock in the rear. The Africa Twin has all the adventure bike amenities like a TFT dash, cruise control, heated grips, adjustable seat height, so on and so forth. The Africa Twin DCT costs $15,299 in its base trim and $18,099 in the Adventure Sports package.
You know, every so often a package like this is delivered right to my door. I like to think of it as my lifeline. I have the Yeetus. And these right here, my motorcycle supplies. I check my oil and I check it often, and YN Moto makes sure I got everything I need when I need it. And you may not know this, but every dollar you spend is an entry to win one of our giveaway bikes, and for those of you afflicted with the Yeetus, that's a pretty good deal right there. We got stonking V-twins, high hopped up inline 4s, even beginner bikes, anything you might need to help yourself with your Yeetus. We also sell tires, parts, gear, helmets, anything else you need for all your motorcycling needs. So if you're like me and you're afflicted with the horrible disease of the Yeetus, head on over to ynmoto.co and get yourself one of these lifeline supplies.
For more information, go to ynmoto.co or shop.yamanoob.co. That's CO and not .com. Once again, that's shop.yamanoob.co. Click today. Honda also makes the NC750X, which is sort of an interesting hybrid sport tourer commuter adventure-y type of thing that comes with the automatic dual clutch transmission. This bike is kind of designed to be an easy to use, easy to handle, low cost, do a little bit of everything motorcycle, and an automatic transmission fits that vibe. It is a 745cc parallel twin that makes 58 horsepower and 51 foot-pounds of torque. Not bad for a bike that brags about its 23-liter storage compartment, if you know what I mean. There isn't a ton to write home about with this bike. It's just a practical, good, low-cost form of transportation, and there's nothing wrong with that. The NC750X DCT costs $9,299. The last DCT motorcycle from Honda is actually the Rebel 1100. The Rebel has done a lot for redefining the cruiser archetype for the modern rider, and I suppose an automatic DCT shares that mentality. The Rebel line has always been designed to be a super approachable cruiser for riders who appreciate value and functionality more than real backers who prefer assless chaps and flame bandanas. The Rebel 1100 has a 1084cc parallel twin that is making 86 horsepower and 72 foot-pounds of torque. It has multiple ride modes, cruise control, ABS, and that badass blacked out style, baby. You know, that is pretty hardcore. The Rebel 1100 DCT costs you about 10 grand. Electric motorcycles also operate without the use of a clutch or selectable gears. One of the biggest appeals of an electric bike is the ease of use. Just twist the throttle and go. It's as easy as using a scooter, except that they weigh upwards of 600 pounds, can go like 150 miles per hour, and here are a few honorable mentions for easy to ride electric motorcycles. First and foremost is the electric motorcycle that has come closest to winning us over, the Livewire. The Livewire is a pseudo-Harley motorcycle that makes 100 horsepower and 85 foot-pounds of torque while weighing in at 568 pounds. It has lots of premium components like Brembo brakes, fully adjustable suspension, and a TFT dash, plus it can go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds with no clutch or shifting required. Not bad for something bearing Harley-Davidson lineage. It has a 95-mile range. You can charge in as little as an hour with the DCT fast charger. The Livewire costs $22,799. Another electric motorcycle for the Robo Fast Boys is the Energica Ego Plus. Magic Toaster, tip your cap. I'm talking about the Energica. These motorcycles look pretty cool and are pretty fast, making 158 foot-pounds of torque and a peak 171 horsepower. They have a claimed range of 123 to 260 miles based on speed, so we can assume it's more likely like 100 miles. They can also charge pretty quickly in about an hour with the use of a fast charger. If you want to know more about this bike, the Energica website has literally more bodies of text than the King James Bible, so I'm pretty sure you can find the answer to whatever question you have over there. The Energica Ego Plus costs a pretty penny at about $24,000. Now, here's an interesting idea. Most of the top-line leader bikes come equipped with quick shifters these days. I'm talking up and down. So how exactly do they work? A quick shifter allows for shifting between gears without having to adjust the clutch or the throttle by manipulating the ignition spark to unload the transmission just fast enough to allow the rider to slip up to the next gear. For a quick shifter that allows you to downshift without the clutch, they must also have an auto blipper that revs up the engine to match the RPM. That way, clutchless downshifts with a quick shifter are as smooth and buttery as upshifts as well. When you have an up and down quick shifter, you only need to use the clutch when you're coming to and from a stop. Otherwise, you can go all the way through the gearbox as if it were a semi-automatic transmission. Here are some motorcycles that come equipped with a quick shifter from factory. From Yamaha, the R1, the MT-09, the MT-10 bikes all come with the up and down quick shifter. Other super sport motorcycles like the ZX-10, the Gixxer Thao, they all have quick shifters, and even some smaller displacement bikes like the RS660 come with the quick shifter up and down. If the bike you're eyeing doesn't come with one, they're usually factory aftermarket options for most manufacturers to quick shift up, but it's pretty dang hard to put a auto blipper down on a motorcycle that doesn't already come equipped with one. A step beyond the standard quick shifter, the MV Agusta has a few motorcycles that use their SCS smart clutch system. This is pretty interesting because it blurs the lines between a regular manual transmission with a quick shifter and a computer-controlled dual clutch transmission. The SCS has all the standard components of a manual transmission, like a gearbox, clutch, and a gear shifter, but it uses a recluse clutch that automatically engages and disengages based on the throttle input. With this system, the rider never has to manually pull the clutch lever in, even when coming to a stop. We actually tested this on one of the Lusso Turismo Veloces from MV Agusta that we had a while back, and it basically functions like a DCT bike, except there's no buttons, you just use the shifter. This system can be found both on the Dragster and the Turismo Veloce models. The MV Agusta Dragster RR SCS is an aggressive naked bike that has a 798cc 3-cylinder engine, making 140 horsepower and 64 foot-pounds of torque. The Dragster SCS costs $20,900. The Turismo Veloce Lusso SCS is a sport touring motorcycle with the same 798cc, detuned to 110 and 60 foot-pounds of torque. We actually did a whole video review on this bike if you want to go and check that out. This motorcycle costs $22,500. Both of these motorcycles equipped with the smart clutch system and quick shifter allows for super smooth power delivery, easy riding, and faster launches. I'm curious to see how commonplace these new transmission systems become as manufacturers try to make motorcycling easier, faster, or more approachable. Let us know what you think about automatic motorcycles and if you think something like a DCT or like MV Agusta's SCS system is going to become the new standard. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button and stay up to date on all our new shenanigans. And remember, tell your leader bike bro buddy that he actually rides a semi-automatic motorcycle. Fact, the first product to have a barcode was Wrigley's Gum. Goodbye.
Well, look at you. You've made it to the end of another Yammy Noob video. You should consider yourself pretty lucky because I have curated this one right over here for you to continue watching. It's probably just as good as the one you just saw. Unless you hated the one you just saw. I don't know, maybe leave me a comment down below about how much you hated it as well too. Or just keep watching this one. Make sure you keep watching Yammy Noob. Don't forget to keep watching Yammy Noob. That's the most important thing. Keep watching Yammy Noob.